Time to get up. Little man's crying like crazy right now. So Janae's going to grab him, bring him back into the bed. I'm getting up to go to the gym. I know you can't see it, but it's a full moon and really brightens up the sky. Makes walking out the door a little bit easier at 4:30. So we're starting to get into late fall. It's been a beautiful fall. Mornings have been pretty nice, but we'll see it go from, low 30s to potentially upwards of, 60 to 70 degrees, even low 80s right now. But I work out 6 days a week, 5 to 6 days a week, wake up about 4:30. Takes me about 15 minutes to get from the bed into the car, try to set everything up the morning before, and then get yourself some, get yourself going. Try to be quiet with the kids, especially with the wife, but that's not always the case. This morning, Rocky was not having it, as he has been really this last couple months for whatever reason. And Nola woke up also about 2 a.m. She must have having a bad dream or something, but nothing, a little pre-workout, which my wife absolutely hates, will get you going. So let's have a great day. Let's go. So I usually get into the office about 6:30, 6:45, walking into Old Town Square, and definitely a beautiful place to be. Actually, I just missed a FaceTime call from my wife, because although we start pretty early, definitely love seeing the family. So it's pretty important to me that we are able to use that technology and FaceTime, but time to get after it after the gym. So today we've got a pretty busy day. As you kind of can see, we're doing a day in the life deal in Fort Collins, what is typical for me Monday through Friday. So definitely waking up early, getting to the gym, try to get into the office around 6:30 to get a bunch of my kind of admin stuff done. And I'm more productive between 6:30 to 8 than I am as far as admin type stuff than I am the rest of the day. Because after 8 o'clock, you start getting phone calls, texts, you feel obligated to respond to those texts. Anything before 8 a.m., I really try to ignore. And then I get in here, get some emails done, and enjoy Old Town Square, that's just right behind me. But what we've got going on today is, pretty exciting. We got some clients in from Virginia, and we're gonna take a drive around town. What they're looking for is kind of anywhere between $1 to $1.5 million that requires maybe some work, but has really good character, good bones, decent walkability. And then at 2 o'clock, we've got a new build that we are closing. Between now and then, we've got some inspections that we've got to get set up for some of the properties that we have under contract and make sure that everything is on schedule for that. And then kind of closing out the day, I do currently have an appointment scheduled with a client over at Odell's to discuss buying in 2022. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make that this evening just with everything that's going on. And then we'll end up heading home, hanging out with the kiddos. I gotta pick them up at 5, so there's some tight time frames around then, but I hope you guys enjoy today. I'll try to show you kind of some different views of Fort Collins and Old Town Square and what we've got going on. So what's up everybody? My name is Patrick Soukup with Soukup Real Estate Services here in Fort Collins, Colorado. And if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. What you're looking at doing is learning everything there is to know about Fort Collins, eating, sleeping, playing. Today we're gonna be vlogging so you guys can kind of see a day in the life. And if at the end of the video you've enjoyed the content, give it a thumbs up, comment, engage, maybe even share it. And as much as we like making these YouTube videos for YouTube, we like more work with buyers, sellers, and investors for all their real estate needs here in Northern Colorado and Fort Collins. So give me a call, text, email. We have got your back here at Soukup Real Estate Services. So without any further delay, let's jump into some more of today's vlog. Enjoy, guys. So probably about 3 to 4 times a month, I've got clients that come into Fort Collins from, really all over the country. And one of the best ways that we get familiarized with Fort Collins is kind of by taking a ride around. So we'll hop into my truck for anywhere between 2 to 3 hours. 3 hours starts to get a little bit long, especially when you got kiddos that may join, which doesn't happen too often. A lot of times this is kind of a vacation for folks that are exploring. But yeah, so we're about to hop into a truck my truck with some clients from Virginia, and we'll explore probably some south of town, but a lot of it's going to be Midtown and Old Town Square. So we'll get after it today and really get after or get to know Fort Collins quite a bit better. So hopefully you guys enjoy. So for our closings, we get our clients a pretty sweet little gift, some bamboo oil for their cutting board, really pretty sweet cutting board, Dr. Teal's, dish rags, blanket, a sweet box to carry everything in. But we go all pretty nice for the clients that just spent, well, in this case about 6 months with us on a new build. Today we were supposed to close on a new build for a client, a new build condo, but there was an issue with title that they originally submitted the legal descriptions as numbers, but it ended up being letters. So we had to do a resubmittal to the county, and they just got back to us with numbers being accepted through the county. So unfortunately, we are going to have to delay that closing, and we'll be pushing that off until tomorrow. So instead of a closing today, we're going to end up going to and viewing a few different properties with a client that just called in who's moving from Denver to Fort Collins, and looking between $500,000 to $600,000. So I want to go kind of scout the area, see what's available on the market, and not waste any time today. But definitely bummed out for that client, as it is their first purchase, and we were actually supposed to close yesterday, but the county with the COVID guidelines is not able to move as fast as they normally do. So it got pushed off to today, but ultimately going to close tomorrow morning. So no closing today, but had a great tour with the folks from Virginia. Went all the way south, almost to the landfill, to Midtown, viewed a lot of different properties and areas. The landings and Terry Shores were some of their favorites. So excited to talk with them and get that process rolling. But right now we're gonna go take a look at some different property. So I'm definitely not the best at filming and walking, so sorry for how jumpy it is, but this house is on the southeast side of Fort Collins. It's $500,000, 4 bed, 3 bath, just over 2,000 square feet. I've got clients that are looking at it from the Denver area, first time home buyer. They're approved up to $575. So just thought before they come out on Saturday that I'd scout out a couple of the houses that we're probably gonna have a look at. The neighborhood, this house does sit on a busy street. The neighborhood is right across the street from Fort Collins High School. This neighborhood probably 3 or 4 years ago would have gone for $300,000 to $400,000. So it's amazing to see what type of appreciation is in this neighborhood. Now, again, we didn't have a closing today, so rather than just kind of sit back, relax, and take it for what it was, which honestly kind of worn out a little bit here and there, so that sounds nice, but wanted to get in this house, see what it was like, have a look, and maybe find a house for the clients. So
there's definitely a reason that earlier when I told you that I get more work done between 6:30 and 8 than I do the rest of the day as far as kind of administrative work. And today is a phenomenal example of why that is the case. Just the phone was ringing off the hook from issues at a building to reviewing a settlement statement, which generally speaking, 9.9 times out of 10, there's no issues on that settlement statement. But today I happened to catch, it was just $100 error, but it just didn't look right. And rather than just saying, yeah, good to go, good to close, gave her a call. Luckily, it was just a simple, easy mistake. Got it removed. Called the buyer that we were supposed to close today, and she didn't necessarily feel comfortable with just bringing an additional personal check. So she's actually going back to the bank to get a new cashier's check for the exact amount for closing. But then while I was looking, get on my phone, start scrolling through Instagram, and found kind of a fun reel that there was a cougar basically gonna attack a hiker that went viral a year ago. And so I'll use the audio for kind of a fun reel that I thought about for real estate.
Go away. No. No. Fuck you, dude.
I do Instagram, YouTube, a little bit of Facebook and Google. I figure, there's so much social media out there. You could get lost in it. A lot of people think I should do TikTok, but I'm just focusing on Instagram and just having fun with it because, again, you could just get lost in that world. And then right after that, I'm probably gonna take the dogs for a walk. So I'll show you guys where we walk the dogs on a daily basis.
So we've been coming to Fossil Creek Park with our dog Jackson since he was born. Well, 4 or 5 weeks or however old that we got him, probably 8 weeks, 13 years ago, and ran with him up and down these hills and back and forth. And really it was the first big dual responsibility between me and my wife, and she was not happy about it. I called her from a pet rescue and I let her know that, or I should say I asked her, which I will verify this, as will she, but she thought I was joking, if I could get a dog or what her thoughts would be if I got a dog. And she was cool, nonchalant. We were still relatively early in our relationship, so you don't want to be too overbearing, I'm sure. And her comment was, yeah, sure, no problem, no big deal. Well, I did. I got a dog, and that dog is Jackson. And she was staying in the Fossil Creek condominium, and we were living pretty much exclusively at her house because my sophomore house was disgusting. So we were living at her house, pretty much brand new carpets, pretty nice place to live. And this little puppy was now our responsibility, both Janae and my responsibility. But I sleep pretty heavily, and Janae was pretty much the one who was taking care of Jackson at this time because she was in kind of a gap year between her undergrad and graduate school, and she was working but able to stay home, and I was working and going to school. But she was the one who was pretty much solely responsible for Jackson, and she hated him for about 6 months or so, and then she grew to love him. And if you haven't heard my story yet, you can definitely watch it in one of the videos, and I can't remember if I talked about this or not, but me and Janae actually got divorced after we got married. So we had been married twice. And when we got divorced, Janae actually was the one who took Jackson and Tilly as far as, custody, if you will. I would come and I would walk the dogs every now and again, but that was more or less just to see Janae, as I was clearly not over it. But her heart is definitely Jackson's, as far as Jackson is her dog. Even though I bought him, he is her dog, and he's 13 years old now, and he's starting to kind of have some issues with aging, and it's kind of a bummer to see, but he's doing all right, but probably won't be in our family too much longer. And we walk Jackson and Tilly on this path. I probably only walk them maybe once or twice a week, 3 times sometimes. But Janae is diligent about walking our dogs, and that's probably why they're both so healthy. And Jackson looks as good as he does for being 13 years old. So just a little bit as far as Fossil Creek, what that means to us, as well as Jackson. We've been walking this park now for 13 years. So we got a little bit of bath time. And we go every other day because these kids are tons of fun to play with in the water, but definitely a lot of work too. So Janae is not a huge fan of bath time, but I enjoy it. So that's my job with the kiddos. Every night I try to put my phone away from about 4:30 or 5 to about 7:30 or 8. Some nights I'm successful with it, other nights I'm not. And tonight's kind of an example of a unique situation where I've got some folks who actually I've known since high school, and they are looking at kind of putting their ducks in a row to begin the purchase process. So I'm meeting them over at Odell's for a quick beer, and actually another friend from high school is playing the guitar there this evening, so they wanted to go watch and support him. But I only got to pick the kids up at 5, give them a bath, and then Janae got home at 6, and I pretty much just tag teamed her in, me out, and I'm heading to Odell's for probably the next hour or 2. So tonight's a unique situation where I really won't get to see my kids, which is extremely important to me. So it'll be a long work night, but that's why we, take vacations and spend the weekends as much as we can together.
That's a doggone good dance.
So 4:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. just getting home from Odell's, it was enjoyable, you know, seeing some folks that I hadn't seen since high school on a couple of them, and getting to kind of understand what their goals and aspirations are. Having a beer, a burger, and listening to some fun music. And now getting home, kiddos are probably already going to be asleep, unfortunately, but be able to, you know, crawl in bed, or I should say get ready for tomorrow first, and then crawl in bed, cuddle up to the wife, and go to bed. So I hope you've kind of enjoyed seeing what a day in the life is for me, between waking up early, getting to the gym, getting to the office early, trying to get some admin type work done, then hopping in my truck, driving for a couple hours around town with some folks from Virginia, having a closing rescheduled till tomorrow, and then going and seeing some houses, then getting back home, picking up the kids, giving them a bath, going and having a beer and burger, getting back home pretty late. It isn't necessarily too typical that I get this happens. Again, I like to get home and spend time with the kids between 4:30 and 7:30 every day, but sometimes that doesn't happen. And fortunate, I have a very loving family that understands what I do, and look forward to every minute that I can spend with them. So thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, enjoy. Take care.